When it comes to horror games nowadays, they tend to focus solely on jump scares and end up lacking suspense or tension. It's a cheap tactic to get spooks out of players, and it's a huge reason why some horror games are dying out, especially if it ends up copying the Poppy's Playtime formula. Going to an entertainment franchise made for kids, a cute mascot, some puzzles, scary chase sequence, and that's it. It doesn't have any substance or payoff, and if you do get a good portion of the game done, you need to wait 2 to 3 years before the next chapter, and by that point, you're in a wheelchair and reflecting on your past and still waiting for GTA 6. But sometimes, there's those diamonds in the rough that really shine through in the pile of rubble. One diamond being Resident Evil. Now, Resident Evil has been around for a long time. So long, in fact, that I have dust in my eyeballs from looking at this catalog. Since 1996, Capcom has been forming this franchise that focuses on biological warfare to be used as an upper hand for government baddies, often turning people into rotting, heaping masses of flesh, bone, and other gross words that I can't think of right now. It's a huge horror icon that was competing with the Silent Hill franchise, and it has been paraded around for a long time for being scary, and how gory it can be at times. And let's not forget the downright hilarious dialogue that makes horror fans to this day weep.
Where's everyone going? Bingo?
There was one game in this franchise that was the black sheep of the family. One that stood out from the rest. One that would arguably be one of the best turning points for the franchise to take. So good that some people reportedly couldn't finish it because of how unnerving it was. Before diving in too far, I just want to say there will be spoilers for some of the game. So if you want to play the game for yourself, or watch a Let's Play, please do. This game is a masterpiece, and I hold it to high standards to this day. It's something that was beautifully made with a lot of passion, hard work, and dedication to show people there's still things that you can be afraid of. There's so much in this game that easily flung it out the ballpark, especially considering prior installments were less than favorable. With that all out of the way though, let's begin. Instead of taking place from the perspective of a police officer, STARS agent, or a government agent, you play from the perspective of a systems engineer named Ethan Winters. He's just some guy who had a normal job and a loving wife named Mia. One fateful October in 2014, Mia went missing after an accident had occurred on the ship she was sailing on. 3 years later, you are sent a location by Mia via email, telling you to come find her. Dulvey, Louisiana. A quiet, flat, farm-like town where Mia is. Sounds easy, right? Right?
No.
Where you end up is a dead end on something you can barely call a road, right in the middle of nowhere. Everywhere you look around is just surrounded by forestry, vines, and bugs. Why is your wife here? Why is she in a place like this? It looks like no one even lives here. And then, when you waltz your way down the path, you see it, the main house. This is where she is, I guess. Ethan Winters, the lovable cherub he is, enters this massive house, assuming he's going to find his wife, go to a local Wendy's, have something to eat with his wife, and move on. Well, he can't. His fate was sealed the second he got into his car to drive here. It pulled him in, and he fell for the bait. As he traverses the muddy, wooded area near the house, he ends up being right in front of the guest house. When you enter in through the door, it shuts behind you, and it locks. All you're left with now is a small chest light and your wits. As you explore the house, you end up finding some exquisite-looking food on the table, in the microwave, and the fridge. 5-star meal, I tell you. Jokes aside, it's disgusting. This looks like the sort of thing you'd see in a hoarder's house. However, there's little hints dropped around this hoarder house that indirectly tell you about the story. One of those hints being a VHS tape named Derelict House Footage. When you head to the living room on the bottom floor, you can pop in said tape and see what's on it. A team of 3 people, Clancy Jarvis, Andre Stickland, and Peter Walken show up, preparing for an episode they're making for their show, Sewer Gators. They head into the house, just like you did, and they wandered around the place, and it looks ever so slightly more upkept, as upkept as it can be, Andre goes missing, and it's up to you and your handy milksop of a partner, Peter, to find him. You're led to the living room, the same one you were standing in, only to find there was a secret pulley system in the fireplace that opens a secret hideaway. Fun fact, most of the puzzles, traps, and secret entrances may have been made by the same person that made Spencer's Mansion from Resident Evil 1, George Trevor, or, as they call it in the game, Trevor and Chamberlain Construction Company. Back to where we were. Once you go through the hideaway, you end up at a ladder that seems to be where Andre went, as your wimp of a host tells you,
"You first. Need a nice hero shot of me coming down the ladder. So, you first."
Am I a joke to you?
You slowly descend the ladder, only to find your co-host, Andre, dead, hung up on a broken pipe. Well, now you know where you have to go and how to get the fuck out of there. There's a path near where Andre was killed, and it leads to a dilapidated underside to the house that was filled with sewage, mud, and corpses. You know, enough stuff to give you radiation poisoning for the rest of your life. When you make it through there, though, you're brought into the basement of the house, and it ain't pretty. Sprawled drawings everywhere, writing on the walls like a madman went insane, minimal lighting, and a barred door that looks like a cell. Sure enough, once you find the means to break the chains off the door, you find your loving wife Mia in here. But when she wakes up, she doesn't look happy to see you. Not in an ungrateful way, more of a fearful one.
You shouldn't be here.
What do you mean? You contacted me.
No, I wouldn't. Did I? Did anyone see you? Did he see you?
Hey, who else is here? What the hell's going on?
Daddy's coming. We need to go.
Daddy?
We need to go now!
Apparently, Daddy is coming, and you need to get out of there. I don't know, man. If I heard Daddy was coming, I'd just think it was Bowser. She leads you out, and one thing you can notice is on top of being incredibly delirious and skittish, she's twinging, sort of like she's in pain. She leads you through a gap that leads to a narrow hall, ending your trail at a door that totally screams the way out until she opens it.
This is it. I remember this room. There's another door here. I'm sure of it.
The door she said was here wasn't, and she ends her search in defeat. Ethan promises that it'll be okay, and he'll try to find the way out. When you enter the room adjacent to you,
No, leave me alone!
she's dragged out and you hear her screaming, and wooden boards smashing. Huh, hey, that looks like the exit Mia was talking about. Going into the newly opened room, a long staircase awaits you, leading you to another door. You're brought right back up to the inaccessible part of the guest house. Searching around, you find some yummy health juice, a map, and a strange knocking coming from the hall, almost as if it was where you just came from. Going back to the staircase, the knocking stops, and it becomes obvious what you need to do. Heading down the steps was the last thing Ethan should have done, but it was his only way out. This isn't Mia. Her skin is pale, patchy, and it looks like her veins are black. She's obviously possessed by something, or incredibly sick. As you're thrown back like a pebble in the wind, Mia starts trying to stab you, the blade coming close to your face almost every time, nearly ending you. But in a quick last-second decision, Ethan grabs onto the knife with his bare hands, slicing his hand clean open. No matter how hard he fights, she isn't giving up until this.
I can hear her. I can feel her clawing her way back inside of me. Get out! Leave me alone! I've been bad. I deserve this.
Miss Keisha. Miss Keisha. Miss Keisha. Oh my fucking god, she fucking dead.
So she collapses on the floor, and the only thing you can do is use your chug jug and heal yourself, until she decides she's Michael Myers and literally reanimates like a fucking puppet. You're left with one choice: and one choice only: to fight her. You get an axe after she hurls you into a hidden room, and while relentlessly beating on your wife, she gets a swing to the neck, and it's over. The life in her eyes flashes for a split moment as the couple both reach their hands out to each other before Mia collapses on the floor. After her death, the phone starts ringing in the hallway, and upon picking it up, someone answers.
I'm over here stroking my dick. I got lotion on my dick right now. I'm just stroking.
What the fuck?
You really shouldn't have come here.
Who's this? What the fuck is going on?
My name's Zoe. There should be a way out through the attic.
Attic.
Go there. Now.
When you head back to where Mia is, she's gone. The only remaining thing is a puddle of blood and your axe. Now that you have the bolt cutters from the basement and freeing Mia, you can use it on the first closet you came across after entering the house. Inside is a fuse, which is exactly the one needed for the fuse box in the living room. Congrats! You got your way out. Now you just need to head upstairs.
Ethan, it's okay.
This is the one jump scare that gets me more times than I'd like to admit. Mainly because even when I'm expecting it, I don't know when it is exactly, plus my headphones are very loud. Anyway, she kinda stabs your hand with a screwdriver and leaves you there while she walks off, coming back with a fucking chainsaw. No matter how hard... No matter how hard you struggle in this sequence, you can never get out in time, letting you know that some of your choices don't matter. Fate will lead the way. You have to limp your way up the stairs, hit the button, head to the attic, and up there you find a gun and a heel. Seemingly having enough of Mia's shit, Ethan marches forward to the attic door, and wouldn't you know it, there's a ladder leading to the window doors. You just gotta get up there and get...
Are you fucking kidding me?
You now have a heater and can attack her at range, so land your shots wisely. Once you mag dump her, she mustered up the energy to say, and with that, she's gone. For good. But just when you think it's all over, and you're free of her shit.
Welcome to the family, son.
In this story, we have a quaint, quiet, normal family. A family that is just living their best lives out in their rural... How the fuck do you say that without having a stroke? A family that is just living their best lives out in their rural home in Dulvey. Jack Baker, born in 1962, grew up with his brother, Joe Baker, at the Baker House Ranch. And just like siblings, they were always known to get into fights with one another. Even the townsfolk of Dulvey knew them simply because of their rivalry. In the 1980s, however, Jack ended up serving in the US Marine Corps, although it's not clear how long he served for. In the 90s, though, Jack settled down with a lady known as Marguerite, and they got married. By 1994, they had 2 children, Zoe Baker and Lucas Baker. They truly treat each other like family, and they all love each other dearly, even the siblings, but of course, they do treat each other like siblings.
Wake up and smell the shitty coffee, Zoe.
But that normal family life isn't how things are. At least not for long. Jack Baker took in a girl who he found unconscious at a busted tank near the bayou. He brought her in, and Marguerite was worried as if it were her own daughter.
Oh, she's so young.
Yeah, how's our other guest?
Sleeping, poor thing.
Well, I say let him. He'll be okay here for a few days, at least while till we can get him into town.
She tried doing what she could to nurse her back to health. Marguerite asks Zoe to get her some clothes and bring them up to her to help her get changed. Little does Zoe know, that would be the last time she saw her loving family.
All right, little girl, let's get you cleaned up.
They're mine now.
What?
As the night progresses, we see Jack and Marguerite slowly losing their sanity as the girl they brought in, Evelyn, would start corrupting them. Zoe finds Marguerite in the bathroom mumbling nonsensical dialogue to herself, and as soon as Zoe steps in, Marguerite turns around and shows Zoe the mouthful of bugs she had. Jack, still unafflicted from Evelyn's control, tries to stop her from hurting anyone else and rushes Zoe to get rope out of the garage. When she comes back to the bathroom to give her father the rope, it's already too late. Evelyn gained control of Jack, and she had won them over. Because they were recently infected too, Zoe saw her mother and father struggling for control over themselves. But this virus was one that was too powerful to just get over. It was far too late for them already. They accepted her gift. Zoe was able to make it out, but the same can't be said for Lucas, who was dragged into his room by Jack. However, Zoe wasn't safe, as Evelyn was able to get a hold of Zoe too. But she was able to fight it and sustain it more than the family could because she knew about Evelyn's little mind control tricks. Zoe had nothing she could do, and no one to call for help. She just had to wait out until someone came, or until she died. Throughout 2014 to 2017, the Baker family took in a bunch of innocent people and either turned them, tortured them, or killed them. Some people tried escaping, and some people were so close, but they died or turned before they could escape. The main antagonist of this game is a girl named Evelyn. She was a bioweapon manufactured by the Connections, and she was designed in such a way that would allow her to kill her adversaries without the need of hand-to-hand combat. She would just simply manipulate and destroy them mentally, while infecting them with her so-called gift. She had a rather strange fixation on making a family. She was born without parents, no one who taught her right and wrong, but she was raised by people who were simply there to use her as a weapon, so she only ever learned death and destruction. I think the reason why she acts the way she does is because she doesn't really know what she is. They ran numerous tests on her for her entire life, and she couldn't see the error of her ways, because she was just doing what she was told ever since she was conceptualized. And I hate to be the devil's advocate here, but I kind of feel bad for her. She just wants to feel what it was like to be loved by a family. She was weaponized and used against others at a very young age, and because of that, she thought it was normal. She didn't understand why there was such a hatred towards her, and that becomes apparent near the end of the game, when Ethan injects her with the serum, and it's revealed that she's old. She questions, "Why does everyone hate me?" I think why the age swap happened was to show Ethan Evelyn's younger form, as it was just a hallucination when you saw her younger counterpart. The reason she aged so quickly though, however, is because of the genetic restructuring she had done to her body. Yes, she had powers, but at the same time, this genetic code made it so that she aged 24 to 25 times faster than the average human, and with that, it also affected her mental state that came with aging. And the only way she can reverse it is by occasional medication. Onward from 2014, she was constantly aging, and by 2017, she was around 80 years old, when she was only 7 to 10 in 2014, which was the year that Mia disappeared and sent that video to Ethan. As I said earlier, I feel bad for Evelyn, because she was just made to be a weapon. Not made of passion, not made to be loved, just made to destroy and overtake. And I think that makes her a great antagonist. No one taught her that killing people was immoral, and she never faced consequences. The Connections were very much raising a child, and because they were making a bioweapon, they never gave her limits as to what she could do. So if she had a tantrum, they wouldn't prevent her from doing it. And look at how that ended up. She was made not knowing who she was, why she was there, and more importantly, why everyone hated her. Now, I want to talk about my favorite part of this game. I want to talk about the part that scared younger me from walking in the dark for years. So, in previous Resident Evil installments, you have zombies, zombie dogs, the Verdugo, the Regenerators. But in this game, you have what is called the Molded. These beings made of mold, flesh, and bone are single-handedly one of the creepiest creatures in Resident Evil. The atmosphere made it even better. The dark, dreary corridors really fit these monsters. But there's one thing about the Molded that, in a weird way, I adore. If you look into the early beta concept art of the game, it's revealed how the Molded are made. They are made from dead bodies, and they are thrown in a bathtub filled with mold, and it's sealed off with chicken wire, and the humans are left there to die. When they come out, they are these large, soulless, lifeless creatures with indents where its eyes should be and razor-sharp, jagged teeth where its mouth is. It does have a lot of human features, but they are heavily masked or just so contorted that you can barely make it out. And they have these disturbing raspy groans and grunts like they've been chain smoking for years. I actually have nightmares about these things sometimes, and even as a 20-year-old, they make me afraid to leave my room at night. Like if the lights are off and I'm trying to get a glass of water, I'm just worried that a molded is going to come out of the dark corridor of my house and slowly stumble towards me. Also, to note, one thing I caught very recently is that the molded very well might have emotions. I was playing the End of Zoe DLC, and I noticed that hunched over in a corner was a molded that appeared to be crying. It's covering its face with its hands, and it looks like it's weeping, all by itself. It's different from other idle animations I've seen for them. It's cruel. Does that mean I'm sympathetic towards these damn things? Not in the fucking slightest. But in all actuality, not only are these creatures menacing, but I think there's something interesting about having a creature that is barely recognizable as a human, but giving them emotions like that. It's like they're constantly in a state of agony, knowing what they do, what they act like now, and that instead of being a normal human being, they're just lifeless husks. No longer who they used to be, and only very rarely are they able to convey human emotion, because the virus controls them now. It's saddening, but it makes them one of my favorite Resident Evil monsters to date. To wrap this video up, I wanted to give my opinion on this game, even if most of this video is already opinionated. This game holds a very special place in my heart. It isn't inherently scary to me anymore, but the unsettling atmosphere still sticks to me like glue. It's something I can never forget. I get an indescribable feeling while I play this game, and to this day, I still play this game just to play it, whether it be minigames like Nightmare, 21, or even just the main story. I have so many memories of playing this game with my little brother in the basement of my old childhood home, and when the full game came out, I got my physical copy, popped it in, made me and my brother some popcorn, and I played it for the first time. Both of us got scared, unsettled, and we both tried figuring out the ins and outs of the game, and we struggled until we figured it out. And every single time, I had fun. I got to bond with my brother, and I got to play a game that I knew I'd be obsessed with when I was older. I remember playing the demo for the first time alone in the dark, and I found myself fascinated with the world that was shown. The creatures, the atmosphere, the setting. It was enough to creep me out, unlike any scary thing I could have ever experienced. The soundtrack that I've played throughout this video is mostly from Resident Evil 7. It can be chilling and scary at times, but during the somber moments, when it's calm, it's oddly comforting. It's inviting, and it feels safe. It's a detour from the mainline series and the dumpster fire that was Resident Evil 6, but it was a detour that was much needed in my opinion. This change for the series turned it into what Resident Evil originally stood for: horror. It didn't throw in any action scenes with things blowing up every 3 seconds. It didn't have you jumping from character to character every 3 seconds like a spaz. It had a story that was straight through to the end. Ethan Winters saving his wife from a house in the countryside that was filled with horrors beyond his belief. One other detail I'd like to mention: I think the creators and the people who put this game together were just as passionate about reviving the series and making something frightening. They all were able to provide their own input and were encouraged to come forth with any ideas they had, and it wouldn't be judged. And because of its flexible nature in development, the team was able to create something beautiful instead of having to fall on what people wanted to see or what other games were trying to do. Resident Evil, after the 4th game, tried to become something it wasn't. It ended up becoming a big mess of action, thriller, and heavily drove away from those horror elements. But there was a stark contrast between Resident Evil 7 and its predecessors, which reeled it right back into where it should have been. And I commend the creators, every single person, for taking the series back to where it belonged. Now, not every person may find this game scary, and that's okay. Because like many other things in life, horror or fear is subjective. Everyone has their own tolerance, but I wanted to recommend that if you're into horror media and you have yourself a gaming console of any kind, I highly recommend playing it and giving it a shot. It's an experience worth delving into. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. I've wanted to return to the platform with something different from things I've done in the past, and I wanted to take my time to make something I was passionate about. I've been trying to make this video for a really long time. I had the script initially back in 2021, and then I rewrote it in 2023, but I could never really perfect what I was trying to say. The ideas I wanted to bring up, the things I liked, it was a mess. It just wasn't what I wanted it to be, and it didn't feel right. I may not make videos like this all too often, only because I make things like this for fun, but if it gets enough reception, I might do it some more. Either way, thank you so much for your time, and hopefully I'll see you around sometime soon. Take care now.